Journalistic elitism is a major problem in not only the games industry or electronics industry, in journalism as a whole, and it needs to stop. Let's get into it. Skip it up and that up. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Review Tech USA. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit bells for notifications of all my newest uploads. Thank you very much. So, Nilay Patel and I have a little bit of a history. If you remember back in 2018, The Verge posted a terrible PC build tutorial video where the PC was built completely wrong. It was absolutely mind-blowing, mind-boggling that a major tech journalism website like The Verge, who's owned by Vox, would let up a tutorial like that. A well-produced that probably had to pass through countless eyes before it was approved to put up on YouTube, got through. The power supply was put in the wrong. Thermal paste was just thrown all over the place. Countless other things I could go into with the build of that video. It was a classic, but not a classic for the reasons that The Verge probably was hoping for. And a lot of people, including me, did a commentary video talking about it. All the things that were wrong, how the build was put together poorly, how incredible it was that it passed through, like I said, all the checks and balances before video goes live over at The Verge that it passed through. And on top of that, too, all the videos that I put up, Bitwit put up, name another tech YouTuber, because it was just astonishing how poorly this build video was. A lot of people did live streams and commentaries and commentary videos talking about how terrible the build was. That's as fair use comes. You don't have to have a law degree to know that. Well, Nilay Patel, who is editor-in-chief over at The Verge, after this terrible Verge PC build video was put up, he's actually the founder of, one of the founders, or co-founder of The Verge, I should say. He was not happy with the egg on The Verge's face. What Nilay Patel decided to do, instead of allowing people to use what they're legally allowed to do, is their right to fair use, where, say, for example, you don't agree with this video and you want to do a live commentary over it, you're 110% entitled to do that. That is fair use. You don't have to have a law degree to know that. Nilay didn't care about that, and put a manual strike on people's accounts that had these commentary videos, saying that we were stealing The Verge's content, because they deleted that video. They tried to sweep it under the rug. Again, the Streisand effect, where when you try to hide something and do whatever you need to do to get rid of something, it makes more people pay attention and you have more eyes on it than you ever would if you just left it be. Needless to say, the strikes, he was abusing the copyright system. The strikes were removed. And he knew that if he left them on the videos, including my video got a strike as well. He knew that if he left them on the videos, it would be a very bad look for The Verge. So he took all the manual strikes off. I think he was hoping that everyone would be too afraid to say something about a huge tech journalism site that's owned by Vox. I think he was hoping that intimidation would make people not actually call out the strikes, but everyone did. Bitwit did. I did. Any YouTuber that got a strike for making a commentary video or doing a live stream where it was, again, it's a transformative work, it's fair use. Anyone who got a strike called out The Verge, called out Nilay. Instead of saying he was sorry for it, though, and instead of apologizing for, abusing the copyright system, are abusing YouTube's system to put strikes on people's accounts, he basically made it like, yeah, he was in the right, and he took away the strikes out of the kindness of his heart because, he just felt bad. Again, I'm paraphrasing to a degree, but that's basically the context of what he said. No, you didn't lie. You knew that if you left those strikes up, you were abusing the system, and you could technically get in trouble for it, and it also looked terrible for The Verge, so you took the strikes down, and people's videos went live again. So needless to say, I'm not a big fan of Nilay, and Nilay is not a big fan of me. I think he does an excellent job when he does review things. Like I think his Verge videos on YouTube are very engaging, but I kind of think the guy is a prick, and he thinks there's a double standard for him and journalists and tech journalists like it's an elitist kind of club, and then there's YouTubers. And it's just wrong. And he got roasted again professionally by another YouTuber that's a favorite of mine, Lon Seidman, and he's not happy about it. So let's have some fun. And what am I talking about when it comes to that? So on May 14th, Nalai posted his review on theverge.com of Starlink. Starlink is that satellite internet network system that Elon Musk is working on. And he wasn't a big fan of it. And he was saying the app would tell him that his internet was obstructed for 2 hours a day. And he was basically saying we need to get fiber to different areas of America. It turned into more of an opinion piece on internet infrastructure as a whole and less about actually Starlink itself. And Lon Seidman made a video calling him out on that professionally. Lon is way more professional than I am, which that's not saying much, but Lon does an excellent job. You should check out his YouTube channel. And Lon Seidman made a video saying The Verge is wrong on Starlink. And he pointed something out. First off, he pointed out that he had a much better experience. His brother had a much better experience with Starlink. And if you set the satellite up properly, there's virtually no dead zones in internet. They had no downtime with internet. They were getting good speeds. Now, the most interesting thing that Lon pointed out is who owns The Verge? Who owns Vox? Vox is the parent company of The Verge. Well, NBC Universal, whose parent company is Comcast, has a $200 million equity investment in Vox Media. Again, remember, Vox Media is the parent company of The Verge. And there was an earlier round of investment into Vox by Comcast Ventures as well. So Comcast, a company that provides internet service for people in the States who would see Starlink as a competitor, is the company that has a financial investment in The Verge. So you see where the conflict of interest is there? Comcast is the sugar daddy for The Verge. It's true. So don't you think there would be a vested interest for them to kind of downplay Starlink? And what's even worse, my editor and I quadruple check this, is that the article from The Verge reviewing Starlink and giving it a mixed review mentions nowhere that their parent company, NBC Universal, who's owned by Comcast, also offers an internet service who would see Starlink as a competitor. You see where the problem is here? You see, Nalai, where the problem is here? Well, anyway, due to this, Lon Seidman on Twitter also said this, okay? And Nalai ended up responding to it. I'm going to have to show you screenshots. I'll explain why in a minute. So Lon says, Ari, my video about The Verge got Starlink wrong. I asked Vox Media about the total percent of equity Comcast owns in their media operation. No response. Prior to a $200 million 2015 investment, Comcast held 14%. What is it now? Shouldn't they disclose that when reporting on broadband? Yes, of course they should. Well, this is how I actually responded to this too, because this really bothered me, because here's a guy who I know I question his ethics because of what happened back in 2018. And, you know, Lon gave me a heads up that this was happening, okay? And I thought it was BS. I thought it was bullshit. So Nalai responded back, which is funny because he kind of responded back with the same aggressiveness that I responded towards him, and here was his reaction to me. So he responds to Lon Seidman's tweet asking about the investment that Comcast has in Vox, and he responds back, is there anyone in the world who thinks we don't disclose things enough except for this dude? Well, me too. I guess I'm the other dude that doesn't, because not in a single sentence of that article, there were comments talking about how Vox is the parent company of The Verge and NBC Universal is owned by Comcast, and that there's a financial interest to downplay Starlink. People in the comments were saying that, but nowhere in your article you were saying that. So no, you didn't disclose it enough. So this dude here doesn't think you disclosed it enough as well. So he's getting snarky with Lon Seidman. I decide, you know what? I'm going to get snarky back. Hey, Reckless, aren't you the same guy who manually carpet bombed the community with copyright strikes when everyone called out the terrible Verge PC build video? Then when you got caught, tried to make it like you removed the claims out of kindness, asking for a friend. The friend being me, I was being a prick. Nalai, you know, he could be snarky with other people, but God forbid you're snarky with him. Here's what he did. Blocked me. For anyone thinks I don't condone harassment, I don't condone anything. That was the first time I've ever responded to Nalai on Twitter ever. And I wasn't blocked before that quote retweet. What bothers me is this. Here is the thing to everyone who acts like Nalai is I try to respect you and your journalistic integrity. But when things like this happen, especially after what happened in 2018 when you abused YouTube's system to try to sweep something under the rug, how can I respect you? I think you do great reviews. I think you have a great screen presence, Nalai. I think your reviews are thorough, but I also think you're an elitist prick. I think that you think that you have the rules don't apply to you. You sat there calling out Lon, saying that, does anyone not know this? I didn't know that. I didn't know that Vox, there was a $200 million stake from Comcast and Vox. I didn't know that. Don't you think there, when I've seen other companies do reviews where their parent company has a financial investment which could lean the product in a certain direction, they'll have a disclosure saying, let's say GameSpot, our parent company is CBS, and CBS has a stake, let's say, in Sony. You'll see a disclosure. IGN has disclosures too. Crickets chirp in that article, man. We double checked it, quadruple checked it, like literally, like I looked over it like 4 times, and so did my editor. You don't mention anywhere that your parent company Vox has a financial stake in it by NBC Universal, who is owned by Comcast. Have to think of all the different steps there. You don't mention that. And that's something important people may want to know. And you got called out on it, and you try to downplay the credibility of Lon. I call you out on the BS you did back in the day to show that you kind of maybe don't have the level of ethics that you should, and you block me. This is tech journalism elitism at its finest, and it needs to stop. And I have no issue calling you out on it, Eli. Don't like it? Tough shit. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.